Okay, back at home base here, we'll run down a little bit of the inventory we have here. This clone from the chassis number on here, 786-A, this is a 1967 Dumont Emerson chassis. Most likely an Emerson. 1967 is kind of late for a 21-inch roundy, but that's what the SAM says on this. This one here is an unknown GE, as I don't have the back, and now I no longer have the picture tube label, but this is the one that the tube tests good. I'm retesting the tube because I did bop the end of it here going down the doorway. It's 1971, full of compactrons. The tuner is absent, but maybe someone out there knows what model set this is. Let me give you a look at the front here. The GE Insta-color. Some of you recognize this tube tests way up. I'm just going to have it set here real quick to show you. I'm at 6.3 heater. I'll set cutoff, which is pretty much all set, and the emission again. This tube tests good on all three. Next is some channel selector knobs, maybe for that the Zenith that we rescued from the mud. They were a little different, but they are Zenith black and white television knobs. This here was in piece parts. It's the VM changer. It was found to go to this Zenith portable record player here. This is the NPS 40. We could always put some kind of amplifier in this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. We did find 345 adapters, the original N72 needle here, which just appears in good condition. One knob, and the fiber spacers and whatnot. This here is a tube type transformer with two primaries, 6.2, 6.3 taps, and three 6.3 taps, and 300 volt secondary center tap. Next we have the this is a 1965 Zenith. I thought it was 16. It has some cataracts. I don't know what to do quite about that. It looks different than Zeniths I've seen, but it's a I have everything written down here. The Zenith is a M2150 19-inch black and white. It says all channel, but it doesn't have UHF. Oh, Provision. I thought it said Provision. I get it. Okay, up next is this Admiral, this unknown Admiral chassis, but the SAMS is in it. It's got cataracts on the CRT, and I think a few of the guns were down even after cooking it a little bit. So funny, we do have the SAMs tucked in here. I don't have any chassis number on here. I've tried to run these, they didn't match up to anything, but this appears to be the SAMs for it, except folder 1 is missing, but we can download a copy of the SAMs. This again will just be parts or whatnot. All Sylvaina tubes in this one, by the way. Every single tube in this has been changed out to Sylvainas. This was one of Bill's crazy inventions here. Mary had a little lamb, he said it played or something. A couple cans of contact cleaner and some cross-reference books for yokes, flybacks, etc. And an ECG replacement guide. And various books here. Some of them were interesting. TV servicing time savers, but there are Riders publications on servicing TV systems, and they're all numbered. Some are AGC, some are video circuits, etc., etc. And before I do the last set here, this is a Philco Ford set. I've saved just the Delta Guns sets here. This, to me, at this point, Philco GTE, this is a Sylvaina Superset, I'm guessing. And last but not least, this is the CTC 11. the brightener that was on it, some spare tubes. I'll go around the other side to get a look at it. So this is using the 21 FBP22, and it is a UHF model. That's a plastic safety shield on there, it appears. So there you have it, that's the haul. And like I say, most of these will be just parts sets to get some of the other ones going, and that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching. If anyone out there knows the ID of this 1971 GE here, just to get the CRT number would be nice. The label is gone, it blew away, but we didn't have it anyway. It was so faded I couldn't read it. Okay, we don't have the socket adapter for the 467 for this tube, but we do have it for the B&K 465. So I've gone ahead and attached it. I don't know why this yoke is missing the cover, it seems. I may even plug this TV in to see what it does. But let's test the CRT real quick. So we'll go to 6.3. I've already set my G1, and my G2 is set somewhere in the range. The tube is lighting. Give it a few seconds here to warm up. I saw that needle fluctuate a little bit. I didn't like that. Let's go back and see if the tube's still lit. It is. Check for shorts and we'll do emission. It's not very much emission there. Can't set cutoff. We're at 6.3. I'm getting 0 for emission here. Like I say, the socket should be fine. I have nothing on emission. Okay, if that Zenith from the mud and the leaves can power up, we're going to power up this one. We'll use the Variac here and turn it on, and though the tube is down, let's see what we get. This is series set. About 40 volts right there. Set is on. I don't see any tubes glowing. Go to about 60. I don't hear anything going on here. Okay, I do see filaments are up to about 100 volts. Okay. 118 volts. I think I can hear high voltage. I hear vertical. Of course, this tube is very weak. Let's see if it's bright. It's bright out today. This tube is so low. I doubt we'll see anything here. Sometimes the camera picks up more than I can see, and I think it is picking up something. It's hard to see. Well, we'll try this inside to see if we get raster. Okay, in comparison, this is the Zenith NPS40 record player, and over here we have the, this one is what that one more or less looked like. This one has a little different knobs, short spindle, needles attached, and this is the X540-1 model. So it does have a different model number than the other one, but it's closes in the same fashion. And it looks quite similar. Okay, next up is this Admiral 6H1063-1. I guess taken from the Sam's. And let's see what it does. Let's give it some juice and see what it does. Bring it up a little slow on the Variac. We do not have a back for this set. And again, I was not much of a fan of Admirals from this era. They didn't seem to be of good quality. And this is where they went out. They went out I don't know, in the late 70s. Some really bad end of the line, bottom of the line products. I don't see any tubes missing. I did turn the set on. We're up about, we'll go up about 80 volts there. I don't see any tubes lighting. I don't know if that's the power button or what here. We'll check that. Okay, we're up about 100 volts. We're getting some hum out of the speaker and the tubes are lighting. Let's bring it up to 110, 115. The output and the damper were out of this when I got it, so I believe the damper is lit. I don't know what's going on in there, but just hum. And oh, we do have some smoke here. I don't know if that's just coming off the tubes or no, this thing's smoking up. We have smokage. Well, like I say, these are never known. These are always known for the Flybacks. This one's probably no different. Don't see where that smoke was coming from, but probably one of those resistors down there, but well, that'll do it for the Admiral. Okay, we'll have a look inside our cage of the Admiral, but again, I don't recall these like dripping like other Flybacks. They simply just shorted out. I remember changing this out, and that appears to be original. And we lost our tube cap on the 6KD6. There, come off the tube, but that's common. Just put him back. As we have the 21-inch roundy Admiral, maybe this could be, some things from this can be used towards that. Who knows? Again, the mystery GE, one last look, and it's a shame that it's got some deep scratches here. And the CRT tests good. A couple of deep scratches. I wonder if those can be buffed out. But that's the Insta-color GE. Okay, this one we're just going to go for the GTE Sylvaina Superset Philco brand. Just plug it in, turn it on, and nothing. Oh. any raster here. Don't know what this button is. This is not an in-line, this is a delta gun. Yeah, there is some snow there. Oh, I'll just place this one inside for now. Not gonna get me. It's so hard for me to see raster, but yes, I do see snow there. It's filling the screen. Looks a little green. Maybe we should test this CRT. Okay, here's the inside of our Philco Ford, and chassis assembled in Mexico, and it's from it's an inline tube. So again, I'm not interested in this too much. But when the tube key is broken on this one, every one of these sets of the tube keys have been broken on. In any event, it did power up, and it does have the model number attached to the bottom of it over here. Somewhere on. But it's in a number of places. It's the model G29161W. Better look underneath. Hard to do one-handed here. Where was that model tag? Well, anyway, it's from manufactured March of '79, Smithfield, North Carolina. C29161W, it looks like. Okay, back on testing this tube on this Philco set. If I look up 19VKJP22, it tells me to use socket 23, which I do have, but it has an MV in front of it. I don't know what that means. MV 19VKJP22. I don't have any listing for any tube with an MV in front of it, but the tube chart says it's a socket 16 if I go by the tube outlined in the tube diagram, which calls a 19VFBP22 or VGLP22. So we're going to test it like that with socket number 16 and see how that goes. Obviously that other socket is way off. So we'll set this up and give it a quick check. Okay, once again, this is an inline tube. I have the checker set up at 6.3. The tube is lighting. We know that already. And there is some convergence on these inlines. I thought that that was eliminated at this point, but obviously not. So set up at 6.3, or G1 is at 50, and see, we can set cutoff here. This tube didn't seem to be performing very well at all. This may just go in the bin. We have some cutoff on the green, very little cutoff on blue, hardly any cutoff on red. It's been on a few minutes. Let's give it an emission. So yeah, this tube is down too. Let's crank the heater up a little and see what we get. I'll crank the heater up and go up to about 7 or 8 volts there. This looks like a high hour set. It does run. So, but I'm not interested in that aspect of it. So with the filament up, we'll come back to this in a few minutes, but down, down, down. So after being on a few minutes, here's our final result. Neither of them, they're all even, but none of them come into the good. And if I crank the heater up a little, yeah, they'll come up a little bit, but This one seems to go way up the blue, but this tube's pretty much had it also. Okay, back on what I was calling a CTC11. This is, looking at it a little closer, there's no brand name on it. This is not an RCA, it's like a no-name roundy. We'll take a look at the back. It has an Admiral CRT in it. So is this another Emerson? Dumont? Take a look inside again. Okay, taking a look inside. It says Sam's 831. And it says model FF36QW Curtis Mathes. So that's... It looks exactly like that parts chassis we have. It does say C20-something there. So there you have it. Admiral BP FBP22 highlight on the CRT Admiral from 1966. So this is one of those late model roundy sets. So there you have it. We'll get this inside. Maybe we'll plug it in, see what it does. This was laying in the bottom of the chassis right here, a Theo's Game Centers token. That could have caused havoc in there. But, okay. We're going to variac at about 60 volts. I'm going to hit the power here. I think we're already on. Push on power. Do you have any action back here? I don't hear anything. It's hard to tell which way is on. Okay, we didn't have the variac on, but we're about 40 volts, and I hear a little hum out of the power transformer. I don't see any tubes lighting yet. We'll bring that up a little bit. And it's humming about 70 volts. This hasn't been on since 1973, so about 40 years ago. Oh, the pilot light is on. Okay, we'll go up to full. $115 volts. I hear the crackle of high voltage. I can't see the output tube, but it's lit. I can almost hear the high voltage. Jump over, see if we have some... Well, we took the brightener off, mind you. And I can't see if I have raster or not. It appears to be running. We'll get it in and put a signal on it. See what it looks like. We'll go around front here, take a look. I'll bring it up around 117 or so. Okay, and I have everything turned up. I turned up the screens in the back, and it's very bright out. I don't see anything, and I have no signal attached, but we have no smoke either, so we'll do a little check of it out later on, but at least we have some sort of a survivor here. Thanks for watching. Well, here we are with the set finally in the house. No screen on the bottom, I noticed, and none of us checked. One screw holding the chassis. Just one screw. But it's nice to have. I'm glad to own it, and we'll see what we can do about getting it up and running with a clear, bright picture.